Okay, welcome America, welcome Taylor Swift. Today we are going to be writing equations from diagrams again using angle relationships. So we are going to start with this diagram right here. So we've got a transversal cuts across these two lines here, and we're trying to make those two lines parallel. The only way we're going to make them parallel is if we have an angle relationship, and this one that we're doing in this diagram is called corresponding angles. The corresponding angles, see how they correspond to the exact same place that the line is hitting the two other lines? They're called corresponding angles. Where the corresponding angles are the same, where they're congruent, then the lines are parallel. Well, how do we make them the same? How do we make things the same? In math, you write an equation, we set them equal to each other. I know this is really basic, but that's the whole point because we're trying to understand a concept. So x plus 1 equals 110, and then you solve it. And everyone's writing this down. So if the value of x is 109, then these two lines are parallel. How are we doing? I know it's really early. And it's Friday. I'm eating a Costco Kirkland protein bar. They're not good, but they're cheap. They're like $1 a piece. It's like 20 grams of protein. Questions? Moving on. Next relationship. These angles are on the inside of the two lines that we want to be parallel. So this is the interior, and this is called the exterior. So these two angles are interior angles, and they're also on either side of the transversal. And the word that we use to represent that is alternate. Alternate interior angles. And alternate interior angles are also congruent when lines are parallel. Here's why. I like to use 60 and 120. This angle is 60, that one has to be 120 because it's 180, right? Which makes this one 60, because those two are 180, which makes this 120. If these lines are parallel, this transversal is going to hit both of these lines at the same exact angle. So we got 60, 120, 60, 120 over here. Is everybody with me? Okay, now look at the relationships. The last problem we just did was corresponding angles. Notice they're the same. Any pair of corresponding angles, if I picked, this pair right here, this angle corresponds to this one. See, they're the same. Corresponding angles are congruent when the lines are parallel, only when the lines are parallel. If this line wasn't parallel, if it just like hit this transversal at a different angle, then all those numbers would be different, okay? But they're the same when the two lines are parallel. So now, the relationship we're working on in this diagram are alternate interior. Here's an example of alternate interior. Alternate interior angles. Notice they're the same. They're also congruent. So because they're the same, we're going to set them equal to each other and solve for the value of x that makes them equal. So 4x equals 6x minus 44. I'm going to move my x's to the left, just so I can get all my x's to the same side. It's one less step. If I'm moving to the other side, then I have to move the numbers over too, and that's just more work. I know you can't see what I'm doing because I'm standing in front of it. But I'm getting x equals positive 22. Anybody else get that? Okay, perfect. So the value of x is 22. that makes these two lines parallel? How are we doing? It just takes practice. Practice. Not a game. Not a game. Practice. We're talking about practice. Okay, I'm gonna close this.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, okay. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. Not a game, not a game. We're talking about practice. When you see me go into the arena, you see me play, don't you? Give it everything I got. I'm supposed to be a franchise player here. We're talking about practice? All right. These are different because the diagram I just drew in the last one, remember 60, 120, 60, 120, 60, 120. These are, notice these are on the same side of the transversal. They're called consecutive and interior. Consecutive interior angles are not the same. They are supplementary. It means they add up to 180. So when you get a diagram like this where you see consecutive interior angles, you do not set them equal to each other to make the lines parallel. You add them up and set them equal to 180. So x plus 20 adds up to 180. And then you solve for x. These are like terms. I'm seeing a lot of this these days. Subtracting something on the same side of the equal side twice. Y'all have got to, I have to assume that you know how to solve equations. These x's are on the left side of the equal sign together, which makes them like terms, which means you have to add them together. X plus x is 2x. So that's 2x plus 20 equals 180. Subtract 20 from both sides. 2x equals, what is that? 160. Is that right? And then divide both sides by 2. Oh my gosh, this is really messy. Divide both sides by 2, I ran out of the room. I am getting x equals 80. Are you guys, anyone else get x is 80? Just to check my work.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, so the value of x that makes these two lines parallel is 80. We good? All right, I will link this in the agenda so you can watch me do these problems. This weekend when you have your friends over and you're bored and you're like, what are we gonna do? We should watch Ms. Helwing's YouTube channel, right?
I agree with that.
Thank you so much. It's just gonna be a fun activity for all. After you go to the game tonight, because we're gonna win. It'll be fun. All right, peace out.